Coming up on today's episode, Tesla announces the new Gigafactory 4, Crew Dragon passes a crucial test, and Blue Origin's new rocket factory is underway. Let's get ludicrous. Hey there, and welcome to Our Ludicrous Future. This is the podcast where we talk about all the cool future stuff that's happening today that's going to make tomorrow totally ludicrous. I'm Joe Scott with the Answers of Joe YouTube channel. With me today is Ben Sullins.
What's happening, y'all? It's Ben Sullins from Teslanomics. Yes, I was born in Texas, so I'm allowed to say y'all. Okay.
You pull it off.
We don't have a good word for that. In Spanish, it's a part of the language, a way to say you all. We don't really have a word in English for that, right?
Yeah. Y'allins is a good one.
Y'allins?
Y'allins over there better shut up.
See?
Did I just make that up? I may have just made that up.
I love that. And see, you're allowed to do that because you're actually in Texas and from there. So,
yeah, that's one of the few perks.
Yeah, one of the few. Yeah. Besides the lovely weather and the no taxes. Something just made me think of. I don't know where you wanted to get started today, but I had a pretty cool day yesterday. That's going to make tomorrow totally ludicrous.
Well, can we acknowledge that there's somebody missing real quick? I feel like that needs to be pointed out.
Is it Towley? Who is it?
Yeah, just in case somebody's watching their video and is like, I'm missing part of the screen or something. Tim is not with us today. His father is having surgery, so our good thoughts go out to him, and please extend yours as well. But he'll be back with us next week, or at least should be. So,
yes.
Good luck to Tim and his dad today
for good guys.
For the surgery.
Lots of stuff going on in his life, and so. But
yeah,
we will.
Let's hear about your crazy day yesterday.
We will trudge on.
Because I've been curious about
and
this.
Do our best. I'm covering space stuff today, so you guys may as well tune out now. No, just kidding. I'm not. Thank God. I
won't let him do that to you. Don't worry.
Well, there's a big theme here. There's kind of a through line with electric cars and Germany, and it is also about Tesla. So this is like a perfect 5 stories package. This is like your peanut brittle story package of electric cars. So let's
guaranteed to slice up your mouth.
Why is that? Who thought this was a good idea? All right.
Wait, there was a line in Frasier when he ate a peanut brittle and he said, "It's like little shards of heaven." Always like that line.
Oh man. So I got to go play with this thing yesterday, this icy beauty here. This is a Porsche Taycan. Which is named after a horse, as we were just talking about. And I have a little thing here from the good old guys from Detroit, Ford Motor Company, also Mustang named after a horse. Because, the Porsche logo has a jumping horse in it. And so that's what their things are named after. Just like Lamborghini has a bull, so all the cars are named after famous bulls. Even though it's an Italian company and the bulls are Spanish. I don't get it. Whatever. It's a brand.
And somehow bulls get famous.
Yeah, right.
That's what I just learned.
Yeah, there you go. So the Porsche Taycan, I got to drive and spend an entire day with the Turbo S, with every option you could load into this thing. And
missile launcher? Oil slick?
Didn't have that. Yeah.
Ejector seat?
Yeah, that would be some of the more fun stuff. What was that game that you'd play as a kid on Nintendo where you had that? You're like a little car and you could like shoot rockets and stuff. Man.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Someone let us know. So this is the all-electric sedan-ish. It's a 4-door car. I'll describe it for the people not watching. So huge brakes because it's made for track usage and driving. So I got to take it from LA and Marina Del Rey up to a place called Grizzly Cafe, which is kind of a famous place for car people to meet up, and then they go drive through this freeway 2 through LA County. It's called Angeles Crest Highway, I think, and it's just really windy roads and really like crazy, which is exactly what this car is designed for. And so I got an invite to go do that, and it was insane. Not only is the car gorgeous, it handles like nothing I've ever driven before or ridden in.
All right.
And a lot of the testing I did was on the freeway going up to it, where I'd go, say, 70 to 100 miles per hour. We did do the launch control 0 to 60 and all those kind of things, but 70 to 100 was like a really interesting thing because I know I've never had a car be able to pull that quick and that fast already going at 70 miles an hour. So this thing performed like an absolute beast. It is all electric. It has an actual 2-speed electric motor, which is really interesting. And it has some really interesting things it does with this adaptive suspension system, as well as it has regen braking that kicks in when you hit the brake. So there's
it only kicks in when you hit the brake?
There are different ways to set it up.
Okay.
But if you're like a gas car driver coming over and you're like, you're not used to it, you can have it just set to off. But when you tap the brake, it doesn't actually apply the brakes. It first, for as much as it can, applies regen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. It was super wild. So I'm doing a whole video on it. Here's a shot of it next to, if you guys are just listening, next to a Model 3. We just happened to stop at the last Barnes and Noble bookstore in existence and and buy a book. No, we just happened to be grabbing coffee, and there was a Model 3 there, and I'm like, hey, can I pull this next and just take some pictures? So you can kind of get a sense of the size of it. It's bigger. It's like more like a Model S size, but the Model 3 wasn't that much smaller. So it's a little bit bigger than the Model 3, but not like massively bigger. We did get to charge it as well, and I got up at the Electrify America charger to 251 kilowatts-ish. I forget exactly what it got up to. I'll have to look at or that's what we're looking at here on the video. But it was one of those chargers that says it can go up to 350 kilowatts, but apparently something about the car, the battery chemistry, something or else, it can't go above, I think they said 270, and the highest that anyone got was like 256 or something. So it's high. It's incredibly quick charging, which is great. Of course, those chargers aren't as plentiful or whatever, but I think it's just a totally different experience. And the fact that these is capable of doing it and those do exist is pretty awesome.
So just for reference, because I'm blanking right now, what do the Model 3s go up to in terms of charging rates?
The Model 3s go up to 250 at the V3 chargers, which there are going to be many more soon, maybe by the time, maybe they're already out there, but there's the one station in Vegas and then a couple stalls at Hawthorne. I think when I got it, it was around 255, 256, so it was a little bit higher. So it was higher than I got in the Porsche, but state of charge, battery warm. There's so many conditions that go into exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, just had an absolute blast with this car. Really loved it. I think the price point is the only thing that is just completely unrealistic. This car I was driving yesterday was around $220,000 to $230,000.
Wow.
So it's not quite, it's just like 5 of your Model 3s, Joe, or something like that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
we're sort of comparing it to a Model 3, which is like a quarter of the price of what this thing is going to go for. Having driven it and spent a little bit of time with it, is there a comparison? Is that even a valid comparison? Is it more like the top of the line Model S?
I don't think a Model 3 stacks up to it really. Like certainly this thing would beat it around a track and 0 to 60 and all that. Like it's insane how good of a driving experience it is. I've never driven a Porsche before, so this was my first time. The guys got a kick out of that. But the interior is pretty Spartan. It's not super luxurious. It's not like a Bentley or something crazy like that, or a Rolls Royce or anything. So it's clean and modern and nice, but it's not like over luxurious. It's a sports car is essentially what they're going for here. So this is really comparable to more of a Model S, I would say, but really on the Porsche lineup. But see, it's different buyers. It's for different reasons. That's where there's, and I'll be talking about this in a video. It might be out before this one comes out on the podcast, so we'll link to it if you guys want to see that. But a first impressions video where I talk about this. But the buyer for this car is not the same person that's going to be buying a Tesla Model S. Maybe when the Tesla Model S Plaid Edition comes out, that would be more of a direct comparison. But this is a really high-end, top-of-the-line Porsche for a person that already loves Porsche, that wants the driver car, it is functional. Like I could see using that as my regular daily driver if it were just me. Having two kids in the back would be not really. I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but it just seems weird. Like kids spilling milk and crap in your $200,000 sports sedan, like just doesn't seem right.
You have goldfish crackers just ground up into the seat.
Yeah, it's just not. But the trunk size was good. There was like plenty of storage. Probably I would say similar to the Model 3, but without the underneath space. They did add like this little underneath like trapdoor thing, but it was like my phone could barely fit in it. That's how thin it was. So I don't know why they even did that, but
it's just to hide stuff from the police.
Yeah, that's what they said. You can hide your contraband in here, which you don't have to do in California. Anyways, but the front was actually large. Was pretty big. It wasn't like wide or anything, but it was really deep. Like I could fit my full backpack in the frunk. So it's a functional vehicle. It's not like a pure sports car where you're like, it's a terrible car to drive on a daily basis, but it's awesome on the track. Like I could see driving it every day and it being great for like a single person or maybe two people, but not with kids and not with, those kind of things. Like you're not taking your kids to the beach in this car, that kind of a thing. So. But you shouldn't be with this expensive of a car, right? So I think the buyers are different. Whereas a Model S, fantastic, huge, copious amounts of storage, like all kinds of stuff. It's a great family car. It's a great all-around car. So I don't really think of them as that comparable because I think the use cases are just wildly different,
I'm curious about that two gear.
Yeah,
the gear box or whatever.
Right.
Like,
so
how did that work?
So it has a two-speed. I don't know what the right term is. I want to say transmission, but I don't know if it's not a transmission. Basically, it's an electric motor with two gears instead of just one, like all other electric cars. Tesla tried to do this very early on, and they couldn't quite get it, and so they abandoned that and just went to the single gear. But yeah, what happens is there's a lot of variables here, and this is my one day with it, which is surprisingly like if you give me one day with the Model Y, I will know that thing inside and out and can do hours, talk about it for hours. Because Porsche is so new to me, I feel like I barely got to even understand what this car is about after like 12 hours with it. So it's or 10 hours with it. Like anyway, so the 2-speed thing. When you're starting out, so like 0 to 60 launch control, you're like in the first gear. As you get higher, then it will kick into the second one. And so like we did like 0 to 100 miles per hour, and somewhere along the way it kicks into that second gear. And I think this is just my assumption. An engineer could probably confirm this, but basically that's why at 70 miles per hour I can go 70 to 100, and it feels very similar as 0 to 60. Like it feels like it's still pulling you. It's still like, whoa, like you're really flying, versus like a typical kind of drop off I've experienced in other high performance electric cars. Not naming names.
But you didn't feel the gear switch or anything.
No, not at all. No, it's going so fast you couldn't tell. Yeah, they did have a really cool meter showing you the distribution of where the power was coming from the rear to the front motors. They had a lot of things. I think it's funny. I mean, my basic summary is fantastic driving experience. Like I've never driven a car that felt like that one did. The tech inside is good, but it could be better. It's definitely not their strong suit. And then like the interior and those things, this outside styling is beautiful. I think it looks gorgeous. The interior styling is clean. I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it's luxurious at all. Like a high-end Model S, I would say it's similar to that, where it's more tech than it is luxury. But it's probably a step up from any Tesla in terms of the interior, just like slightly. But it's not something you really, I don't know. Like it was nice, but I wasn't blown away by it, right? And I think that's how most Porsches are. Like the interior isn't the focus; it's the driving experience, and they definitely nailed that here.
Yeah. It's cool because when this came out, and when any new EV comes out, we're immediately like looking at the specs, looking at the range, looking at the torque, all this kind of stuff, and really what it comes down to is what's it like to drive. is it enjoyable? Is it something that, you would want to actually, so it's cool that you got the chance to do that, and it lives up to you, because I think we Tesla fans tend to just kind of poo-poo anything that's not Tesla because it doesn't have the range or whatever. But
it's a different thing, Like I kind of have this developing line of thinking that anything that doesn't have the supercharger network is just an in-town car. It's not a long-range road trip car, and that's fine. We're not there yet, right? But the fact that there are compelling EVs out there are great. Like, this is all good for everybody. The Tesla Model S Plaid Edition arguably wouldn't be as moving along as quick without this car existing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you look at that and you go, great, that's better for all of us. So I would really just encourage anyone that is a fan of EVs to be excited about this, because I mean, it's almost like when Tim talks about Rocket Lab or something. It's like, why would if you're like a hardcore SpaceX fan, why would you hate on Rocket Lab? Like, they're all doing, this is all good stuff. Like, these are all moving us all forward. And if there's competition, I think that's going to be good for us. The thing that bothers me, and I think is rightfully for Tesla owners or whomever to be upset about, is when you see big automakers come out with these really half-hearted attempts. This was not a half-hearted attempt. In fact, I believe this is the highest and most expensive Porsche you can buy right now. Like they said, I think the Panamera something 12 adjectives hybrid is like 190,000. This one starts at 185, and when you add everything up, it's like 220 plus. So, yeah, fun time. Video coming maybe before this video. I don't know. It's coming very soon on my channel. So
cool. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I look forward to being jealous.
And that's not all with Germany, and because Porsche's in Germany, if you guys didn't know that, and EVs. That wasn't a segue. I was just like trying to connect some dots. We now know that Gigafactory 4 from Tesla is going to be in Berlin, or near Berlin, as it turns out. They're going to build batteries, powertrains, and vehicles. Oh my. Starting with Model Y. So it's interesting they're building the Model Y first, because I would imagine Model 3 would be the better one, since the Model 3 also is crushing. In fact, it won Best Midsize Car in Germany at the same time. So Elon just had like a great day in Germany this past week, where like, hey, we're going to build Gigafactory 4 here. Oh, by the way, thanks for the award for the best midsize car in Germany. And they're just crushing it right now. So really cool stuff. Really excited to see what happens here. What do you think? I mean, we were talking before, can you call this Gigafactory 4? It's going to be interesting to see what happens and how quickly this goes up, because the China factory was kind of probably an anomaly with how quick that went up and how it's already like making cars, or going to be making cars. Yeah.
No, actually, I saw something the last couple of days that they got their certification or whatever it is that gives them the go ahead to start making cars. So I guess there's nothing really stopping them except just getting it going at this point.
Yeah, and I saw that they had press cars already made in China. For Chinese media to come drive and experience or whatever. So that's going to crush, man. I think we're going to see, I don't know, 100,000 plus cars from that factory next year. And actually, I want to do a video on this. I'm not sure if people will be interested. This is where I'm not sure how in the weeds people want to get. But then I see Tim do a video super deep in the weeds. I'm like, okay, people like this stuff. But what's happening in China with EVs is really interesting. And there's kind of this public sentiment that like, oh, no more EVs in China. People aren't buying them. And that's not exactly the story. Basically what's happening is the government wants to get, they have like a mandate that to sell cars in China, you have to sell a certain number of them as electric as well. And that number is increasing over the years to where eventually it's going to be all electric. And the incentives for people to buy them are changing as well, so that now the incentives are no longer available for the really short range electric cars. They're only for the longer range electric cars. And so, in fact, Tesla stands to benefit tremendously from this because all the really short range, cheaper ones are now no longer eligible for it. So people are like, oh crap, I can buy a way better car for the same price as I could buy this like small little dinky car. So I think SAIC, BYD, there's a bunch of companies with different initials or letters that are being hit hard by this. But I believe, and someone correct me in the comments, but China is still on track to grow their EV market by like 40% or 50% this year, versus like the 100% 100+% year over year that it has been. So as these other automakers, BYD, SAIC, et cetera, start making longer range EVs, I think we'll see that tick go right back up. And then Tesla's kind of, I mean, dude, it's kind of perfect timing. If they're able to really start cranking out these longer range, really awesome electric cars, the Model 3, right as the incentives for all the other ones died, and theirs do get the incentives, that just may flood the market. And then, there's a lot of that, like, Tesla still has that a lot of brand cachet, that brand value. So they may actually benefit tremendously from that downturn that we see in the overall stats.
And then there's also just all the people that probably wanted a Tesla for a while but couldn't because of the tariffs and stuff, and now that's going to make them cheaper too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think China is the second biggest car market for Tesla, or currently, even with all the tariffs and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I read an article, and I don't necessarily agree with the guy, but he was trying to make the argument that the United States will never go fully electric, that we're going to be a gas country forever because it's just so ingrained in us. And he was talking about how like the percentage of the EV market in the United States just really hasn't really gone up that much over the last 10 years, even though there's all these new things out there. But he was making the point that China will.
Well, they're forcing it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. That's one of the benefits of a totalitarian government.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean, but rewind to the 90s when California put this mandate in place as well. And that's when you saw the Toyota RAV4 EV. That's where you saw the EV1. That's where you saw all these electric vehicles. They were only created because California said, if you want to sell cars here, and California is one of the biggest car markets in the U.S., you have to make a certain number of electric vehicles and sell them as well. So China's doing the same thing, and China's much bigger, and there's nobody that's going to tell them what they can or can't do. Like, that probably speaks to yours as well. Here, the fuel cell argument basically convinced the Air Resources Board to remove that mandate, and then poof, all the EVs being made disappeared. Imagine how that happens. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's a weird thing, but yeah, you're right. I mean, China being able to say this is important to us and screw everyone else, like I don't care what they say. That's why like Toyota just announced that they're going to be partnering with BYD, which is a big automaker there, to do battery electric vehicles in China. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Toyota just sided with the Trump administration on suing California over our tougher vehicle emission standards. So Toyota's kind of like...
They're hard pressed for the fuel cell thing.
It's not even that. Like they don't. In fact, if you look at the miles per gallon of a hybrid, which I mean, it's ironic that Toyota, makes the Prius, but they don't care about fuel emission standards or the environment at all. If you look at the hybrid miles per gallon in Japan versus the U.S., it's dramatically different because they're very focused on profits is what it appears. And so screw everything else. I don't care if people die from pollution or if the planet warms up. I'm just going to make more money is my goal. That's all I care about. And they're doing moves to reinforce that sentiment. So, it's bad. But because of China, Toyota's going to have to start making those cars, And I don't know if Tesla really is going to... I know that Toyotas are being traded in for the Model 3, but I don't know if it's really denting their sales at all because they're so massive. It's like a very small percentage, But who is taking a hit? More German car companies, man. BMW, Bavarian Motor Works. So Bloomberg did a cool study on this, a survey, and lots of stuff happening in this survey. And one of the things that was really interesting was who is taking the biggest hit in terms of the Model 3's growth. And it turns out that, the Toyota Prius is the number one car being traded in for the Model 3. So, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you have a Prius, like the gas mileage on a Prius isn't that great, honestly. Like it's probably not worth the money. Like I haven't done the analysis on it, but I don't actually imagine you're coming out far ahead. You probably are buying a Prius because maybe there's that perceived notion of it, but also maybe you're making some money on the deal, or I'm sorry, that you're helping the planet. And so here you have the Toyota Prius being the number one car traded in for the Model 3, where the sales price goes from $27,000 to $50,000. So a massive, like double the price you're paying for this car. But because there's so many Priuses being sold, they're not actually taking the biggest hit. BMW, which is the second most traded in car for a Tesla Model 3, is a $46,000 car already, and they're taking the biggest hits here. So BMW's actually losing significant market share, especially in this luxury segment to Tesla. Whereas Toyota, yeah, sure, but Toyota's just so massive. It's like not really a big chunk of it. So Bloomberg did a fantastic piece on this and their data visualizations. I really love what they do. So you can kind of see how it's all broken out here. Yeah. Going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I really like seeing this just to see the scale as well. And I'm so happy they didn't do pie charts, because a pie chart was like probably what people would have
looking
wanted.
at this reduced my entire dialogue to,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like trying to take this in.
Yeah. So if you're listening, I'll describe this. We have what's kind of known as a tree map. This is kind of like a different way to do a tree map here, but it's a chart, and you have in a trellis. So you have like columns and rows. On the top row, you have Toyota, Honda, BMW, and then you can see, the breakdown in terms of the size of these bars, how many of those of the models that they're selling are electric, luxury, or economy, and then you can kind of break it down from Volkswagen, and then go all the way down to where Tesla's at, to Saab, I guess, is the lowest, cheapest, or the smallest one.
I thought they didn't make those anymore.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why it's the smallest. I don't know. But yeah, it's funny. So Tesla actually, I think, is the unless I don't know what the stock market's done today, but Tesla is the most valuable U.S. car company by market cap, if that's how you value them. But they're like the fourth smallest in terms of number of cars that they make, which is kind of wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it makes sense when whenever I describe the Model 3 to people, I usually say it's like an electric BMW 3 Series in terms of price and luxury and whatnot. Because people still have this idea that Tesla is a $100,000 car.
Yeah.
And so they see me driving, and they're like, "Oh, look what you're driving." I'm like, "No, it's more like a BMW."
Yeah, well, and then if you take into account,
which is still an expensive car, but
right, and if you take into account savings on things like maintenance and fuel, then it actually works out much closer to like a high-end Honda or Toyota, because you can price up a Honda Civic to $35,000-$40,000 almost.
True.
You get the leather, you get the navigation system, which costs $2,000. You have to get a DVD every year to load it in. All these kind of dumb, antiquated things. You're like, why is this still a thing? So so Tesla's kind of on a tear right now. And then next week we've got the truck unveil. I mean, they are just really, I would say, hitting on all cylinders, but
but they don't have cylinders.
No cylinders. So Tesla is crushing it in Germany right now. You could say burying the competition.
Why, I think that leads to something else that's been buried.
What could that possibly be, Joe Scott?
We in no way planned this. So there was an article that came out recently that this has been in a few different places. The one that I'm sharing is Yahoo News, which is apparently still a thing.
Right.
But yeah, so in the Marshall Islands, you've seen all these big explosions from the nuclear era when they were blowing up, the Bikini Atoll and all those kinds of things. Well, we did all this testing in the 1940s and 50s of nuclear weapons. And what they basically did was they went around, and of course that leaves fallout and it leaves radioactive debris and everything. So way back when, they went and buried all this inside of, like, they call it a tomb. in the Marshall Islands. Well, now the sea level's rising because of the lovely climate change, and it's starting to threaten this radioactive tomb in the Marshall Islands. And they say that there is as much radioactivity inside of it as outside of Chernobyl right now, which sounds worse than it is. I want to make that clear because they do have the sarcophagus around Chernobyl, so it's not like inside Chernobyl, but in the area around it, there's a little bit of radioactivity around it. But yeah, so this might get buried under the ocean and just
Yay.
be in the ocean.
That would heat up. Is it hot? Would it make the ocean around it warmer?
I don't know that it would make it warmer, but I think, since it's sort of like debris in there, if the water got in, it would just kind of leach out into the water and
that sounds like
do wonderful things to wildlife and fish and, us. But yeah, so like in 1988, a UN tribunal said that we needed to pay $1.7 billion for property and health claims in the area because of all the bombing and stuff that we did back then, and we paid like 3.1 million of that.
Yeah, fair.
So that's good. But yeah, so that's not good. So there's also a study, let's see, in 2013, I'm just kind of reading a little bit. By the way, this is called the Runit Dome, or Runit, R-U-N-I-T. In 2013, a study of the structure commissioned by the U.S. government revealed the site would be classified as a low-level radioactive waste disposal site if it was located in America. So that's what we're talking about. And it said that there was urgent repair needed in cracks in the concrete in order to prevent rainwater from being able to infiltrate the dome and to alleviate negative public perception, because that's what's important.
Right.
So with all the other issues around climate change, there's also this issue of this radioactive tomb that could be, putting radioactivity into our water.
Yeah, I wonder what that would do, because this is pretty remote. This is pretty far out there.
Yeah.
But, ocean has currents and carries things all over. It looks like it's relatively, we're talking about the Pacific Ocean, like massive expanse of it, but it looks like it's kind of equidistance between Hawaii and Japan, or Hawaii and New Guinea, kind of. So I wonder if any of the current, I don't know where the current is going over there, would bring any of this stuff. The problem sounds just like everything is so connected in the world that if you destroy one thing there, it could seemingly be completely irrelevant to where you live now or something, but it could have an impact. So I wonder, are they going to send people out there? Was there any info on like what are we going to do about it, or just, hey, by the way, here's another thing, Well, in fairness, that's pretty much what this article was. Hey, here's another thing to worry about. Yeah.
And I think really in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not something that's going to like destroy the entire Pacific Ocean or anything like that. It's probably more of an issue for the neighboring islands, because there are a lot of small island nations in that area that have been screaming about the sea level rise for years now. This is just the icing on the cake.
Yay.
The fondant that nobody likes on the cake.
On the yellow cake.
On the yellow, oh, well done, sir. Uranium pun for us all today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's mostly going to impact those smaller island nations. I'm not trying to minimize it. That sucks for them. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what needs to be done about it.
We need a bigger tomb.
Find another island to put it on or something. I don't know. But this picture makes it look pretty big. It looks like there's people on it. It's like this gigantic frisbee on this island.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing that I ran across, and I felt like it would bum everybody out. So let's talk about that.
Maybe we could shoot it.
It's like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe we could shoot it into space and then just not worry about it.
Well, if only there were companies that were working on something like that.
Who might you be talking about there, Joe?
Actually, we got a couple of them we can talk about. Let's talk about Blue Origin.
All right.
We talk a lot about SpaceX, as we should. They're doing cool stuff. And we'll talk about some more of what they're doing in a second. But Blue Origin is the dark horse in this space race. They're just like always right there, and there's just billions of dollars being pumped into it. So the big thing for Blue Origin, I think right now, is they do have a couple of engines that they are developing, or they have developed, that they're going to start manufacturing. There's the BE3 and the BE4. The BE4 is actually going to go on ULA's Vulcan rocket, which I think is supposed to start doing some stuff in the next couple of years.
Did you say Vulcan like with a V?
Yeah, like Spock.
Like, are you Vulcan kidding me?
I'm not Vulcan kidding you. Are you out of your Vulcan mind? So Blue Origin, they've got the New Shepard. That's sort of their touristy, fun ride up into suborbital space that for some reason they still haven't put any people on. I don't understand why. Somebody is going to be the first YouTuber to ride on that, by the way. Somebody's going to do that.
Tim Dodd.
I would love for it to be Tim Dodd. I'm wondering if it would be Marquez.
You think he would do that? I don't know,
I don't
man.
know.
Well, didn't
you know him better than me?
Well, that'd be a funny thing. The whole meme with Marquez is like, let's say it's they launch someone up to this new. Let's say they build the moon base or something. People show up. Marquez is there. Hey guys, I've actually been living here for 3 weeks already. Let me tell you all about it.
Yeah. I've been reviewing this moon base.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 years. It's
got a great form factor.
Yeah.
So anyway, the news here is that Blue Origin has been building a new plant near Huntsville, Alabama, which is big rocket territory, and it's a huge plant, 400,000 square feet, $200 million. It's already it's been roofed over, so like this is their like rocket engine gigafactory kind of thing. And they it says the new Alabama plant will employ about 350 people. And
that's it? 350?
Well,
seems like here. Not a lot for such a big place. Maybe
I don't know how those things work.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe they're 350 really big people, like giants that they're hiring.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, so that's pretty cool. We got, and this is of course Jeff Bezos' company, and he's pouring like $1 billion a year into it of his own money, just to build it up.
It's like $100 for me and you.
Yeah,
for the multi-thousandaires,
right. So the BE4 engine is also going to be used on their New Glenn ship, which haven't seen anything on that yet, but other than animations. I don't know what the timeline is of that. That's where Tim would be would come in handy around here. But I always get hung up on the whole New Shepard thing because they have tested it and tested it and tested it over and over and over again. It just it's perfect every single time. And
show me the money.
I'm just kind of like,
do this.
When are you gonna put some people in it, man? It's ready to go.
Let's light this candle.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know.
It's a kind of weird to me to think about the size of these things. I wonder if that's common for a rocket factory, because I know the SpaceX one is 500,000 feet in LA or Hawthorne. But in I'm in more of the auto space, and that's like tiny. That's like a design center. That's not even a factory. So it's like the Tesla factory in Fremont near San Francisco is 5 million square feet. So it's I wonder if it's because they're more bespoke, right? Like you're not making 1,000 a day, right?
Maybe, yeah.
But that's cool. It's stoked to see, first off them doing things, and then second off, doing them in a kind of a cool place there. BMW does have a lot of stuff nearby as well, but I looked it up. It's actually in South Carolina, so kind of a good manufacturing section of the country, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and so the fact that they're selling the BE4 engines to ULA, that might be a bit of their first revenue stream. Like that might be where they kind of get their money to fund the other things to put the New Glenn up and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think the New Shepard's going to be like a big money maker, really. I mean, it's going to be like $200,000 a flight. Rich people will get to go up and fly on it, but that's not going to be like a whole bunch of money or anything.
I'll trade you a Roadster for it. Let's roll.
Well, you have so many on the way.
Do Amazon Prime members get a discount?
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Went to Whole Foods last night, and I was on my way back from LA, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot this was owned by Amazon, because there's a whole section like Prime members over here, like discounts or something. I'm like, that's okay. This feels
the Whole
so
Foods
weird.
down the street from me has an Amazon drop-off location too.
Right. The locker
They got
things.
lockers, yeah.
I have a gripe about that. In San Diego County has like 3 million people. This is not a desolate area. There are people everywhere. We have one Amazon locker in all of San Diego County, and it's on UCSD campus in like the most obscure, hard place to get to. Like, this makes no sense at all. Like, I have no idea. It's like when we had one supercharger in like the third most populous Tesla, like concentration of Teslas in the world. Weird. One supercharger.
I can understand why they would put one on the campus for
Sure.
the students, but I don't know why there's not more.
Why not at one of the 15 Whole Foods or something? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Huh. I wonder how. I've never used it before. I don't know how popular they are.
The locker things?
Yeah.
You know, if you have something like you're not going to be home and you don't want people to steal stuff, and you go to a place that already has the lockers, or that lockers, like, let's say by your work or something, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like, it's convenient. I would love to use one to hide my addiction from my wife, because since I'm moving studios, I haven't been sending packages here like I normally do. I've been sending them home, and I've been home, with the baby. So I've been sending all the Amazon. Yesterday I was gone. 4 packages showed up. The day before, 7 packages showed up. And she's so mad because she's like, I'm trying to have the baby sleep, and the doorbell's ringing constantly. Like, what are you doing? Like, I need to look at your Amazon history. I'm like, oh no, this is the end. Like, this could be it.
she found out. I almost want to put a sign out front that just says, Amazon guy, just leave the package there.
Yeah.
You don't have to ring the doorbell and make my dogs,
right,
freak out.
I think that's what they get joy out of it, though. That's like brings them, like, I know he's filming a video right now. Like, let me go look. Oh, I see his lights on. Yes. Ring the doorbell.
The thing is, like, he's not a Prime member. Yeah, I'm ringing the doorbell.
Yeah. Oh man, not a Prime. I'm surprised they even deliver. They just like leave it out on the street.
For the record, I am a Prime member.
Yeah. Too late.
I'm
Too late.
Bragging. That's my bragging point.
Oh man.
You are looking at a Prime member. Actually, Prime member sounds kind of dirty. Anyway, so another space company you might have heard of, SpaceX. There's some SpaceX news going on. Why don't we start with the fact that they just did a thruster test. Okay, so you're going to the Starlink thing. There we go. There's so many
I'll
things.
get it right. I'm not a good sidekick. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, when I say let's talk SpaceX and there's like 3 SpaceX things, it's going to happen.
I had a good chance there, but no.
So as we all know, back in April, we had a big setback, or SpaceX had a big setback when they did a test of the Super Draco thrusters that are the launch abort system for the Crew Dragon. Kind of blew it up. Not a good thing. But anyway, they just tested them again yesterday, I want to say, and worked fine, all good. And that clears the way for the next in-flight abort test, where they get it up to max Q and do the abort test then. I'm not sure when that's going to be. If I was better, I would have that in front of me. But yeah, they tested it. It worked. So they fixed whatever this problem was that caused the problem back in April. Clears the way for the next test. And after that, we got
people.
We got people.
Yeah, now, the
Benken is one of the astronauts. I can't think of the other one's name right now.
This is Dragon capsule. They've already flown a Dragon capsule to the ISS and back, just with some Amazon Prime delivery packages, I'm sure. Now, what is this going up on? A Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy?
Falcon 9.
Falcon 9, right, okay.
Yeah.
Because Starship plus booster thing won't have, like, the Starship itself will have crew in it.
Eventually, yeah.
Right. But that's like the whole Dear Moon thing.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. I doubt that's going to be like the first thing they do is go around the moon with it. But yeah, I mean, that's still probably a couple of years off before they So there's the Starship thing that we've seen in various presentations over the years. The most recent one just a couple months ago. But there's also the Super Heavy, which is the booster that actually gets it up into space. We still haven't seen that yet.
Right.
And that's the one that has 37 Raptor engines on the bottom of it. Like I don't think they even have that many right now.
Right, they've got like 6 of them or something, right?
Yeah. So the Crew Dragon, assuming everything goes to plan with the Starship, it might only be in business for a few years, unless they find that it's got some cheaper capabilities to get up to ISS. But I mean, even still, I don't see how if the other one is fully reusable, you're still gonna get more out of it.
The fuel it takes just to launch the bigger one, I don't know. There's probably Tim could answer those questions next week.
Tim could.
Yeah.
We're lost without you, man.
That's right.
Well, so this was another thing, though. I mean, just playing devil's advocate here. So the one that blew up in April, the Crew Dragon, was the one that went to the ISS and had re-entered the atmosphere.
Yeah, okay.
So my thought, and I don't know if this, I mean, somebody I'm sure will correct me in the comments here. I've always been wondering if that re-entry might have done something that damaged those Super Draco engines, because there is a scoop there, and I don't know how much the flames might have gotten up into it or something.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, originally they were going to use those to propulsively land.
Right.
And they're not really doing that now. They're just splashing down. So it's really only for a last-ditch emergency if the rocket blows up so it can go away.
Right.
And obviously the goal is for that to not be a thing. But it's a fail-safe,
Yeah.
Of course, it's not much of a fail-safe if you light them and it blows up the capsule. But I don't know. Like, I wonder if they do another test with a re-entry, if they'll test them after that just to be sure. Or maybe they know what it was. Maybe it was some mechanical thing that was very clearly
somebody
the
forgot to close the window,
that.
so one of the gases, flew out.
Yeah.
That's like in San Diego, is random but funny kind of thing like that. We had a 1 year, all of the fireworks in the downtown fireworks show went off at the same time. Do you remember this?
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
I was living in downtown. And we're like, dang, they really stepped it up with the fireworks this year. Because I was like a mile away, and I was like shaking our windows.
Oh, wow.
And then and then I'm like, is it over? Like, I feel like it was just getting start. Like, what happened? So you know what they did to prevent that the next year? They removed that button that does that. They just, there was a button that was
Why
like...
did they make a button that did it in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, that's maybe, step one, don't have that button.
Yeah.
Why do you
why
need
is this self-destruct button here?
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
No, that was that was several years ago, and I was at the time I hadn't really gone all in on YouTube yet. I had another little side project that I called the Daily Epic. It was kind of like an Upworthy style viral video blog kind of thing. And I remember I posted that.
Yeah.
Because it was amazing. Like, it lit up the entire sky. It was like daylight for a minute there.
It was. It was freaky. It was like, what the hell is going on? And then if you think about it, I mean, so we have a huge concentration of military here. Like, we have aircraft carriers, we have destroyers, we have cargo Navy stuff. You have Top Gun, like that actual real Top Gun thing here. You have the second largest Marine base just north of us. I mean, you've got the Navy SEAL training program here. I mean, San Diego is a big military town. So on the other side, I'm like, what's like, I used to live in Oceanside, which is far north as you can get before you hit Camp Pendleton, the Marine base, and at nights you'll hear live bombs and things happening. I don't know if it's actual bomb, but like, you'll hear fire, things like guns and big, tanks and things like that. You'll just boom, 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 boom off in the distance. So half of me was like, but then again, it's kind of nice because if it were ever like somebody wanted to attack the U.S., San Diego is probably the last place you would attack because we have...
Or would it be the first because you want to disable
Sure.
military operations there.
Hopefully we've learned from Pearl Harbor to have some sensors and things of any impending attack coming. But yeah. So
Anyway.
yeah. So that was a big launch. Speaking of other launches, Starlink is up. And
You want to take this one?
No, I don't.
No.
I will share the screen and you can read the notes. How about that?
Well, so this is actually from Tim's website. He shared this with us. So this was, when was the last one that they launched? That was just a few months ago. So this was 60 Starlink satellites that they put up. We're talking about like in 2020 doing like one every 2 weeks. They were talking about
twice a month,
like
right?
Twice a month, yeah. Each one of them carrying 60 satellites to create this constellation, meaning probably by middle or end of next year we'll actually, I don't know that like it would go commercial and everybody could have access to it yet, but
I am really looking forward to that. So me and Jenny, side note, me and Jenny were looking at doing this whole off-grid property thing, and like out in the middle of the woods kind of a deal, and hosting retreats and stuff. And we would actually probably get Starlink out there. And that would be awesome if we could do that.
Cool. Well, this flight was really momentous in a lot of ways. It was the first time that a booster had been used 4 times. The first time for the 4th time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
They reused a fairing for the first time. They were going to try to recapture those, but they couldn't because the waters out there were too choppy, so the boats couldn't. They just called the boats back. It wasn't worth it. So they didn't get to redo the fairing again. But where was I going with that? So yeah, I mean, it was also I think the furthest downrange they have ever landed.
Yeah, and it did land on the drone ship. Successfully.
Perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
And this was one of the few times when you're watching it live that the drone ship didn't cut out. Like you could actually see it come down and land, and it did it perfectly. So
yeah.
So yeah, kudos to them. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of these.
Yeah, I was curious about
that shot right there, that fairing. I mean, just look how packed those are in there. And you can imagine how heavy that is. I mean, like it's taking up the entire fairing.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, that's the exact same size fairing that the Tesla Roadster was in.
Oh, right. It was.
Just for scale.
Because that's the only size fairing they have currently.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Right, because even Falcon Heavy, it's the same size. It's the same fairing.
Right.
Maybe it's a little bit... Actually, in fact, this was from the Falcon Heavy one we saw in person, the Arabsat 6A.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, that was the recovered fairing.
Yeah. So they didn't recover the center core, but they recovered the fairing.
Wow.
That would have been nuts. Could you? I mean, how crazy if they you launched 3 actual like rock boosters, you get all those back plus the fairing back. I mean, so what do you lose? The upper stage, which you're gonna lose anyways. I mean, that's just amazing. That really is, not just a marketing pitch from SpaceX. It's legit. Like, it's crazy to think that, and so it's almost funny. One of the feelings I got in the Porsche Taycan was like, this car is amazing and it's wildly different than a Tesla, but half of this stuff, this thing would not exist if Tesla wasn't so successful and did what they did. So, and it's almost like you can't make a car like that in that category that doesn't have a lot of those features. So I wonder, I know, what is it? Rocket Lab is doing reusable with parachutes.
I don't think they've done it yet.
Right.
But they have a plan for it.
Right. But I think, if I recall, Tim had interviewed, what was the guy's name? Peter or something? And they were like,
Peter Beck.
Yeah, we're never doing it. And then he's like, I'm eating my hat. We're doing it. Right.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like maybe, because why would you launch with anyone else if it's going to be way more expensive?
Yeah.
And that's, so who cares? Like, this is a funny system where I think like the economics are drive it, right? Like if you can guarantee and get my satellite or whatever I need up in space for just half the price, and you're still making a really healthy profit on that, I'm going with you. Why would I go with anyone else? So this is like, I don't know. Hopefully it's going to force the rest of the industry to take this stuff seriously, except for, the government funded things, which are just like, we do them because.
As we were talking last week, yeah.
Yeah, we like spending taxpayer money, so let's keep doing those.
Well, yeah, the Falcon Heavy, if they were able to recover all 3 cores and the fairings, I think that's like 95% reusable.
It's insane. Yeah, and think about how cheap that makes and how capable that vehicle is. That changes the whole economics. We need like a space economics video on this or something.
Now that it's a very split apart, busy kind of way of just like collecting all the little pieces as they fall back to Earth, but
do what you got to do.
So that's why Starship is such a great idea, because it all comes back down and you just put it right back up and there's nothing lost.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny that the only way to make that work is in a gigantic spaceship or gigantic rocket,
Yeah.
Unless there's something out there that I don't know about. But some notes that Tim had on this, just want to make sure and get them out there. There was one of the 60 that was dead and didn't start up. So they're going to re-enter that, and they're going to like study the re-entry to see just how well it, burns up in the atmosphere and everything, because that's the plan. Like they're all designed to deorbit so that they don't create a whole bunch of space junk, which I know is a big problem. And that's the first thing everybody asks me about on Facebook and whatnot. It's like, well, if they put, 4,000 satellites up there, isn't that just more space junk? And that's a good point. But I think they're so low Earth orbit. They're in such a low orbit that if they go dead, they'll just slowly, kind of come back in. Like they have to kind of like constantly be pushing themselves up a little bit.
Yeah.
In fact, they have these little, what are the name of the thrusters in? Like
Ion? Isn't they ion drives with Krypton?
Well, it's sort of. It's like a Krypton thruster or something like that. Because when they launched it, they used those thrusters to like spread out and go where they're supposed to be.
Right.
In the
I was kind of
thing.
I don't know, bummed, but I was just kind of expecting to see that at. I watched the launch or Tim's live stream of it, and it was really cool. But I was expecting at the end when they do the deployment that we would see the thing happen, like we would see them start to roll out. But it's basically like, there it goes. Okay, we're done here. Follow us on social media. I'm like, wait, like show me, like I waited an extra 45 minutes just to see that.
I think that's just such a long-term thing for them to get all spread out and, unfold and do their thing that it would be kind of boring. And I don't even know if they could even get a camera on it.
Well,
honestly.
yeah. That's kind of a weird thing. So
did you see the deployment part of this launch?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I didn't actually get to watch that, but the one that they did previously, I just thought it was kind of interesting because it
goes like end over end.
Yeah, it was like they took the second stage with the satellites on it and just kind of like flung it like this and let go, and then they were just like, okay, and they just kind of like folded out.
This one to me looked
but it
like
was all just through the trajectory and the spin and the rotation and everything.
This one to me looked like it just floated away. Like there was it was not exciting at all.
It wasn't that spin move that they did the first time?
I don't recall.
Because like a normal satellite deployment, it's just kind of like this, kind of unhooks and just kind of goes away from it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I should go toward the camera. It goes away into the oblivion.
So speaking of going away, talk to me about this 1,000-kilometer electric vehicle here that you linked me to.
I don't know what to make of this. I really don't know this website. I think it's an Australian website called Which Car, but yeah, the guy at the head of Lexus, I can't say that, Yoshihiro Sawa.
Okay.
Yeah. He kind of teased that they're working on solid state batteries.
Yeah. That's how you make a car green, by the way. You put a bunch of plants in it. We're looking at the press photo here. There's like a convertible Lexus with the QR code massively printed on it, and it has a bunch of like bushes in it. I don't even know.
I think they just found that somebody left it out somewhere and the plants grew inside of it.
Yeah, this was just sitting in the back.
So did the QR code.
It's an old Toyota RAV4 that they just left out for the past 20 years.
Well, so okay, I'm very conflicted on this article, but I thought I would bring it up because at the beginning he's talking about how like he actually thinks that people are going to go back to hybrids and kind of poo-poos electric.
Yay.
But then he starts talking about solid state technology that would give 1,000 kilometers. Mm-hmm. I think you could actually get up to 1,000 miles on some of those, but
yeah, I was gonna say 1,000 kilometers actually isn't that compelling.
Right.
Because it's 620-ish miles, which is what the Roadster is already like going to get.
Right. Well, anyway, he says that we're working on the technology, but we can't release it yet. It is possible to go 1,000 kilometers, but then the charging time would be a very long time. We'll talk about this toward the end of this podcast, I'm sure. But I am actually, Monday's video is going to be on solid state batteries and John B. Goodenough and what they're working on. So I was kind of already in this mode, I guess. But apparently, Lexus is a part of Toyota. We were talking about them earlier, but apparently they're going to announce or release a solid state battery, like people mover kind of thing for the 2020 Olympic Games.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I think I saw that at CES. It's like a pod kind of a thing. Autonomous.
I guess, yeah. But that's going to be, they're going to use 2020 Olympics in Tokyo to kind of show off their, technology and stuff. So, I mean, it's interesting.
Well, it's weird. This is weird to me. This is really weird. Longer range electric vehicles, sure, all for that. I don't know if you actually need one to go 1,000 kilometers. Like, I don't know above 400 miles if there's any difference to the person, especially if the charging sucks. If it's too slow or if it changes that experience elsewhere. The fact that Lexus is doing it is a shock because Toyota's stance, which is basically not for electric vehicles, or they're all in on the fuel cell thing, which has basically been under development for 30 years and has gone nowhere and is not really a thing. When you buy the Toyota Mirai, and they do have a new one out or whatever, it is an electric vehicle in the sense of it has an electric motor that's powered by the hydrogen fuel cell. However, they give you, 2 or 3 years of free charging at one of the, 10 hydrogen charging stations in the U.S. Those numbers are probably are not exactly right, so don't quote me on that. But the big problems with hydrogen are the fueling stations you don't have one at home, unlike you do with an electric car. And when you do fuel it up, it's crazy expensive because the process to make the liquid hydrogen or whatever you need for it is insanely expensive. So there's these massive challenges here, and lithium-ion batteries and what Tesla's been able to do specifically, which started with the AC propulsion guys, is basically negates any need for this technology, is the way I look at it. So you basically forget all the problems of it because lithium-ion has solved all these other things in better ways. So a solid-state battery does sound interesting, though. I haven't dug into it. I mean, I'll watch your video, of course, but is there a shorthand version of, regular battery, anode, cathode, separator. So what is different about a solid-state? There's no separator. There's no lithium, essentially?
Well, the electrolyte that allows the ions to transfer across the separator in regular lithium-ion batteries is either some kind of gel or a liquid of some kind. In the solid state, it's a glass.
Oh, okay. So it still is the same concept, but just it's not a liquid or a gel or...
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think, so the dendrite problem, you're familiar with that? This solves the dendrite problem.
And that's the buildup, right? That happens from transferring energy, basically from heat exchange.
Yeah. So when the dendrite from the anode connects to the cathode, then you short out the battery and there's heat and explosions and stuff.
And those are like little cones, kind of like in a cave, like a stalagmite kind of thing.
Exactly.
And they just pierce the separator eventually.
Yeah. So this is supposed to prevent that. It's supposed to have 2.2 to 5 times the energy density.
Great.
Of lithium ion, yeah. So this is actually an interesting discussion.
Okay.
So, like you just said, you don't think that over 400 miles it's that's about as long as a car really needs to get. I think that when battery electric cars surpass even slightly what gas cars can do range wise, I think that's a good thing to be at. But I mean, like, let's just say one could go 1,000 miles. At what point does it make more sense to create a smaller battery for a lighter weight car?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, where's that break even point? Like, when is too much?
Right.
Too much.
Yeah. You don't need. Now, I think the other part of that equation to achieve parity with gas cars is charging time. So if you could have a gas car that goes 240 miles but can be recharged in 5 minutes, and those chargers are plentiful, and then on a regular day-to-day basis I can just charge at home at a slower pace and it's enough, then you've done it, right? So you don't really need, I would say, above 240, 250 miles if you can solve the super fast quick charging, which we just can't do with lithium-ion cells. I don't know about solid states if they can charge faster or not. But that's the big problem. I'm sorry, that's the other part of that equation. Isn't just the range, it's the charging. So if you can't do that, if let's say it takes an hour to recharge fully, regardless of of the battery capacity, then you to be on par, have actual parity in terms of time it would take to travel that distance, you need something like 1,000 miles. So that's where it's not fair. But again, EVs will cover 90% of people's driving needs. I'm actually not. I'm not a huge proponent of this, but I'm not mad at all or upset about plug-in hybrid EVs, where it has a gas tank and it can run on that when it needs to. I think if you could get one of those to 200 miles, 150 miles, that would almost be the perfect car for a lot of people. Because the big problem I see is the big problem I see is people have this fear of road trips in an EV. And I would say, unless you're talking a Tesla, that's a legit concern. And depending on where you live, that could still be a legit concern. So there are very legit, like, hey, this doesn't work for me. However, the majority of people's driving, 90% of people or something like that, some extremely high number, EVs already with 150 miles, 200 miles cover all of your driving needs. So it's fine.
Right.
But to actually say, look, we're going to get rid of gas cars completely, you have to solve this equation. So either 1,000 miles range and it takes an hour to charge, or 250 miles range and it takes 5 minutes to charge. And so I actually did a chart looking at this before, and 400 miles with like a 30-minute recharge time was right around a sweet spot where we can probably make a lithium-ion battery that goes 400-something miles and charge it fully or close to fully within 30 minutes using the really kind of advanced cooling systems and the charging technologies that Electrify America and Tesla both have now. So I think like there's sort of a sweet spot here. More isn't always going to be better. Like megapixels on your camera, 12 is fine. You don't need 150 megapixels. It does not make a difference anymore, above a certain stage. So I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting. It's going to be really fun to watch and see how it goes.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just thinking it's going to be interesting to see how things fall together. But yeah, I mean, but I don't know how much the weight has to do with the range on the cars. I'm sure it.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah. So I mean, like, again, if you have half the size of the battery that weighs half what it did before, that could still get you 500, 600 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a good point. It's probably a better thing that solid state batteries will do for electric cars isn't make them 1,000 miles of range. It's lighten the load and give them a 400-mile range.
Right.
Because legitimately, so this was a really interesting discussion yesterday with the Porsche guys, because the Taycan, I'll never say it right. I've got used to saying Porsche, which is nice.
Taycan.
Yeah.
Taycan.
Like I forget what the range is. It's like 200 and change. It's not like a super long range EV. And so the question is, okay, can this be your everything car? You know, because road trips is where it falls short. Again, 90% of your driving, this 220, 215, 230 mile range is going to be fine. It's going to cover the majority of your driving needs. But road trips will still be a problem. And even if you have a fast charging network, it's still not good enough. And I'll tell you my exact use case. So Model S 2013 had 200 miles of range. I drive to Phoenix and back at least once a year. Phoenix is around 400 miles. You'd think I stop and charge once and I'm good. However, there's a big mountain range between here and Phoenix. So in fact, it takes a lot more miles of range to get there than, if I could fly in a plane, kind of. And so what ended up happening with the 200-mile range EV was I had to stop 3 times, each for like 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm adding an hour and a half to 2 hours to my 4-hour trip. So you're increasing your time it takes to get there by 50% almost. That's crazy. I have a 310 range mile Model 3. I stop once for 30 minutes. So it's like, it does make, like, depending on your use case, but I think 400-mile range, fast charging with even just how charging works today, V3 charging, Electrify America charging, it's fine. Like, I don't really think you need more than that for everybody to be like, oh yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you drive 700-800 miles in a go, each week, that's going to be a tough thing, But again, if you could get a plug-in hybrid electric at 200 miles range, you would go to the gas tank once a year and use 5 gallons or 10 gallons of gas per year. It's not perfect. We're still using fossil fuels, but I'll tell you what, if you could cut people's usage down to that, we would be dramatically better off than we are now.
It's true. Well, that might be kind of what he was saying here. This Lexus guy is saying that maybe plug-in hybrids or BEVs with range extenders is really where things are going to land. That's kind of the point that he was making at the beginning.
Yeah.
But anyway,
don't let good be.
I feel like I don't do a lot of road trips, even though I live in Texas, and there's a lot of driving to do when I go see family and stuff. Maybe I'm just a bad son and I don't see my parents enough, but whenever I hear people talking about road trip issues, like you were just saying, I'm just kind of like, to me, it's like, that's just such a small part of how much I drive.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. But it depends on your situation. Some people, that's like, I've had people email me where their daily commute there and back is like 150 miles each day. I'm like, man, that's tough. And you can't, and if you could drive half of that, 75 miles or something, and then charge while you're at wherever you're at, great. Even if it's a slow charge, that'll get you, 30 of those miles back. So it'll cover so many use cases. But, a good example, we were in a couple years ago, Jenny's parents her mom lives in Montana. And Montana is like a Texas kind of state where close is like a 2-hour drive. Right. Like, oh yeah, they're just down the street. It's a hour and a half, 2 hours. And so we were, I forget what the town was called, Stevensville, I think. And which is funny, there was a supercharger in town, which they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, right there, check it out. Like, that's what that thing is. But we were going to Glacier National Park, and to get to that town is a 3-hour drive. And then once you're there, to get to the top of Glacier National Park is another 3-hour drive. And so our plan was go there, go to the thing, come back home. I mean, we're 12 hours of driving in the day. And in their big honking truck, which gets terrible gas mileage, we can just stop once we get there, fill up, go up and back, stop again, and we're done. So, an electric car just couldn't do that. Even if you had a supercharger V3, you're going to spend a lot more time there than you would in that scenario. So, to replace gas cars entirely is going to be a long road ahead. It's not going to happen. But if we can convince people and show people that 90% of the time you're going to be better off, and by the way, you're going to save a ton of money, then yeah. Like I met a guy the other day at a EV Go charger who said, he's like, hey, I watch your videos. And he's like, yeah, I bought my car because of you. And I'm like, what is that? He says it's a Chevy Spark. I'm like, oh, do they even make those? He's like, no, they don't make them anymore. I got it used for $9,000. Oh. And he's like, it goes 80 miles. My daughter just is going to college now, and it's 40 miles away. So I take her to college. I go visit her, and and we still have our old 4Runner for big mountain trips or whatever. But for my daily driver, this is all I use. So 90% of my driving now is in an electric car, even though it doesn't cover everything. I'm like that's progress. I would say 90% is a very big step in the right direction. So, people get obsessed with it has to be all electric. It has to be perfect. It can't have this. It's like, man, let's not let perfect be the enemy of good here.
Exactly. There's a friend of mine. She doesn't have an electric car or anything, but
she's still your friend.
She and her husband say what?
And she's still your friend.
She's still my friend. But she and her husband would always rent a car whenever they drove out of town. Like they had their cars that they drove to work and did their things. But whenever they came up here, she lives in San Antonio, but whenever they made a trip, they would just rent a car.
Yeah.
Just for the trip, just because they didn't want to put that extra wear on their cars.
Yeah, I mean, do the same thing. Yeah. What if you could do like electric? Well, so I know Tesloop was doing that one-way rentals. I don't know what they're doing now or anything, but it'd be kind of funny. You're like, all right, gonna drive this Model 3, 300 miles. Oh, out of range. Cool. Let me hop in a new one. Okay, let's drive this one. I'll let someone else deal with it.
Those be like bird scooters, just like Model 3s laying everywhere.
Yeah, and then you have people come pick them up and charge them as like a way to...
In a Tesla truck.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now, okay, so we're not going to get in a Tesla truck because there's coming, but are we taking bets on whether or not it's going to be pulling a Falcon 9 rocket or something?
I'd take that bet.
I think it
That'd
may.
be fun. Yeah.
Now, would it be pulling Starship?
Oh. Well, so...
I think people would know if Starship was in LA, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hide that thing.
There's really only one, and it's down in Boca Chica, so yeah, it would be kind of difficult to get it over there. But a Falcon 9...
I could see it.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, well, again, like, people don't think of how big the Falcon 9 is.
Massive.
And to see a truck, it would look like this big, towing this giant thing.
Right.
And that would be meme worthy.
And they've got the space to do it. The only challenge will be lighting. They would have to make sure you can see it because it'll be at night and it's on an airport without, there's not like lights out there. So they'd have to figure out a way to do that. So
can we give Tesla props for being really good at preventing leaks? Like, has there ever been a leak?
Yeah. Nothing.
I mean, with all the people looking at this and watching and stalking and talking about it, like somehow this has not been leaked.
Tesla will update the specs of one of their models in a foreign country on the website, and within minutes, it's an article on 5 news sites.
Exactly.
The Roadster, same deal. Nobody even knew that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Nobody. I mean, there was maybe like what's going? Is there a thing? And we had zero information. Nobody had talked about it. And trucks are way bigger, and it's like, and
I mean, how many people are working on that thing?
Well, and also just the place where they make it is a public place. Like you could legit hang out in the bathroom at the Tesla Design Studio as just a normal person. That's public access. You can get in there, right?
Well, don't give people any idea.
Well,
you just gave me an idea.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, people like to hang out in bathrooms, Joe.
Well, you see things there,
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, it's in a very public place. This is how the Semi, there were all, not all, but there were like leaks of the Semi because they need to like move that thing from one side of the parking lot to the other. So they have to drive it on a public road.
Right.
Where there's a supercharger. So there's a reason for Tesla owners to be there. Uh-huh. It's shocking. I'm like, they're amazing at this.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many leaks come out every time a new iPhone is in the works. Like it's never even a surprise anymore when they go up and do their show. It's like, oh yeah, I saw that on Engadget.
Yeah, that's the big joke. Is Marquez says it all the time, right? He's like leaks/promo for this new phone. Like I think that was the thing they did. It may be actually intentional now. You know?
Yeah.
Because
just to gin up some excitement.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Wednesday, the day before the unveiling, you see like, oh, I think I saw it. I saw a taillight. What is that? You know, and then bam, 500 articles. People go nuts. And then all of a sudden next day, bam, here it is. Like kind of ramp it up right beforehand. They don't even have to intentionally do anything. Just take it for a drive on the little road out in front of out in front of SpaceX. Even SpaceX employees, I'm sure, would be like, what? Yo, like, check that out.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. But they do a great job somehow.
Is it the 29th?
21st.
21st. Okay. So that's next week.
A week from when we're recording. And I, nor anyone I know, have invites. So if I get to go, I will share that experience with you guys. If not, then I guess I won't.
I wonder if we should put off recording for a day so that we can talk about it afterwards. Otherwise, we're going to be like, hey, a major thing has happened by the time you watch this video.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, we should record next Friday and try to get out same day, probably. Yeah, because I'm going to be, well, okay, so if I do get an invite, which I hope to, I will be there and record it, and then I will be going back to my hotel and recording my first impressions and editing and uploading that night.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I even have friends who's they're planning on after the initial presentation and unveiling of it, having one of their, if we all get tickets and get to go or whatever, giving them footage from that and saying, go back and upload that footage and get it to our editor right now. And then I'm going to stay here and film more, so I'll have a vlog for the event as well. So, that is an absolute, like, get it out as soon as possible, which is funny because if you think about it, it's actually almost better to not be there from that standpoint.
Yeah, I never feel like I'm really missing out too much that I don't get to go to those things. I would like to go to one eventually. I think it'd just be fun. But for the most part, I just sit here and watch it with everybody else.
Yeah, this one should be cool. That's why I don't understand people that live stream it from their phone.
Yeah.
And there's like a full production crew here, like with hardwired internet and multiple cameras and mics on people. Like, and B-roll that you don't have. Like, what are you even doing? What value are you adding by doing a crappy live stream from your phone at these events?
Yeah. Well, I guess people watch them. So.
Yeah. So that's what I have going on next week.
Cool. Do we have Why Don't They Just?
Oh, man.
We're so bad at this. We're lost without Tim.
This is Tim's bag, man. He really... we'll have to postpone that. Maybe next week we'll do 2.
Yeah. What is a Twitter?
Yeah. What is going on here?
I don't know how to check that. Well, are we done of things to talk about?
I don't know.
Is that everything that's happened?
That is everything.
In the last week?
Yeah.
Everything.
Right. That's it.
So do you have anything you're working on?
Porsche Taycan video, which may be up before this
Obviously.
one. Ford is unveiling their new Mustang-inspired electric SUV. I have a little horsey they sent me, which actually has an Easter egg in it. So this is actually
is that actually metal?
No, it's...
Or is it plastic?
It's plastic?
I hear nothing. It looks metal. It looks cool.
It's not. It's kind of like a really hard plastic with this sheen on it. I don't know what you'd call it. No, but Ford is I'm excited about Ford doing this. So I'm going to do that. That'll be out. LA Auto Show is all next week as well. I don't really know if I'm going to get or do much there because the media days are generally like they're just setting up and there's nothing going on. And any unveilings are happening like beforehand at private events. So we'll see. And I think most of the big stuff was the Porsche stuff because I was with the other people there, we were the first ones in the US to get to drive these things. So that's, big. And then Ford's the thing. So I don't know what else is really happening in that space. So LA Auto might be kind of a bust. We'll see. But then, Tesla truck. So we've got a lot going on, but it's all just like real-time stuff, not something I have already in the works.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I got the solid state battery video coming out on Monday, like I was talking about. It's really a big sloppy wet kiss to John B. Goodenough. A lot of it is. Did you know? Little teaser. He was part of the team that invented RAM, random access memory,
for the computer.
That's what he did before the lithium-ion battery.
Some people.
So they invented RAM in the 50s, and then he invented the lithium-ion battery, and he's basically changed the world twice. And now he's working on a third time at 97 years old.
97?
He's 97 years old.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Some people just are blessed with this. Like, so I'm looking for artwork for the new studio, and one thing I'm looking at are these patent designs from Nikola Tesla about the AC motor, in fact, which is now what electric car motors are based on, and all these other things. And as I'm going to find all the patent drawings of stuff he did, it's like an endless list. I'm just like, what? Yeah. He did this too? He did what? And this and this? And you're just like, my God, like how does that happen? Some people just, are just blessed with this ability to, I don't know that he was smarter than anyone else. I think he just saw things differently. He saw things that other people didn't see.
Yeah.
And was such a obsessive, compulsive madman that he, like the mad scientist, that he just, because I definitely think there's a little bit in anyone that's like that level of genius. My friend, we have a funny discussion. We would call Nikola Tesla a level 5 human. Like me and you were like level 3 humans. We're like normal people. Then there's like Elon Musk is like a level 4. But then somebody like Tesla or like Einstein or Isaac Newton, people like that, like they're level 5 humans. And so I think that there's probably something that's like a little bit off in their brain that gives them, like, I don't know if it's actually they're just smarter, or like for some reason the chemistry is different and they just see things that we don't see. And so therefore they, dive deep into it and make these advancements.
Yeah. Well, there's something like it requires a little bit of obsession.
Right.
Because we all have ideas about things from time to time, but it's kind of like, oh, that's a neat idea, or that would be cool. And then you go on and go off, do the thing in your day, But then there are people who, oh, that's a cool idea. I will think about only that for 2 years now, you know, and they find a way to make it a reality. Like they can't not do that.
Right. Their
world is incomplete until that is done, you know, and it's probably torture for them,
right.
but it does move the world forward.
Well, and that goes for every field, right? Look at Tiger Woods. He wasn't just like good at golf. The kid was on like the Carson show or, late night show or whatever when he was like 4 years old hitting golf balls.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Right? Paco de Lucia, one of the greatest guitarists that ever lived, a flamenco guy, dropped out of elementary school to play guitar. He was like 5 years old and he's like, I've had enough. And his parents are like, oh.
I know everything I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's where in that world, it's kind of a stereotype that like the greatest flamenco guitarists like can't even read or can barely read. They can't write. Like they're illiterate basically, but they just virtuosos somehow because of some gene that's been passed down to them or something. It's fake news, but basically like anything like that requires extreme amount of dedication that I don't think most people have.
Yeah. And as you said, an ability to look at something and just see something different than other people do.
Right. Like
see things that other people don't see.
Yeah. Solving the world's problems here yet again, Joe Scott.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All by myself.
Yep.
We don't need Tim for this.
All by myself. Okay. we need to call this because I'm gonna start singing.
Right. Okay. Well then, thanks for watching, everyone. Wish Tim well for us down in the comments, and I guess we'll see you in
our ludicrous future.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you like what we do and you want to kind of help get it out there, you can give us a nice review on any of your podcast streaming platforms, whichever one you use. That kind of helps get it out there. Also, we do have a Patreon set up, so you can join us there at patreon.com/ourludicrousfuture. You can get your name in the credits, meet a whole other group of like-minded people. It's a lot of fun. We do appreciate it. We'll see you there.